Let's go ahead, let's complete the lesson, and let's find out whether the writer was able to pay the bill, whether for the lady the luncheon was over or still she wished to eat something more. Let's find it out. So when the lady told the writer that the belief which she shared with him, it was for him, the belief that one should get up from the meal feeling that one can eat a little more, and this belief she had shared for him, for the writer replies, "Oh, I see." Then a terrible thing happened. Something unbelievable happened. While we were waiting for the coffee, the head waiter came up to us bearing a large basket full of huge peaches. So a head waiter just approached them, and she was having a large basket full of huge peaches. You can see the peaches over here in the image. But surely peaches were not in season then. But it was not the season when peaches were available. Lord knew what they cost, and we know that unseasonal fruits, they are very expensive. I knew a little later, for my guest, going on with her conversation, absent-mindedly took one. Now she was so busy in her conversation that finally the lady did not realize that what she was doing, and very absent-mindedly, very forgetfully or unconsciously we would say, she just took one peach from the basket. And therefore the writer says that a little later he came to know what was the price of the peach. You see, you have filled your stomach with a lot of meat, my one miserable little chop, and you can't eat anymore. So the lady told the writer that you just can't have anything more just because you have filled your stomach with a very heavy dish, and that is mutton chop. So you can just imagine that in spite of the lady eating three dishes, very heavy dishes like caviar and salmon and giant asparagus, on the top of it eating um, ice cream, still she was blaming the writer and telling him that you might not be hungry. But I have just had a snack, and all these dishes which she had eaten, still she was telling the writer that she had only eaten snack, and I shall enjoy a peach. And just because she had just taken a snack, she had eaten very light food, so she can enjoy a peach. The bill came, and when I paid it, I found that I had only enough for a quite inadequate tip. So the bill came, and it was comforting for the writer that at least he was able to pay the bill. But then he found that he didn't have enough money to pay adequate tip to the waiter. Her eyes rested for an instant on the 3 francs I left for the waiter, and I knew that she thought me mean. So the lady was just watching that what tip was being paid by the writer to the waiter. And when for an instant, just for she gave a glimpse on the 3 francs which were paid by the writer to the waiter as a tip, and the writer knew that the lady thought that the writer was very mean. He was very unkind to the waiter, as he had paid a very inadequate tip of 3 francs. But when I walked out of the restaurant, I had the whole month before me and not a penny in my pocket. But the writer's problem was totally different. He walked out of the restaurant, and he had the complete month to manage his expenses, and he didn't have a penny in his pocket. He had spent all the money which he had on the luncheon. "Follow my example," she said as we shook hands, "and never eat more than one thing for luncheon. So while leaving also, the lady advises the writer that he should follow her example and he should not have more than one thing for luncheon when the writer had eaten only one dish. So we can understand that the lady did not believe in practice before you preach. She preached to the writer that he should have only one thing for luncheon, but she herself ate 3 dishes along with ice cream, coffee, and peach, and one peach. I will do better than that, I retorted, and by now the writer was very angry, and therefore he said that he is going to follow her advice in a better manner. I will eat nothing for dinner tonight. And he said that he won't have anything for dinner tonight. Now, this is ironical sentence. The direct meaning of this sentence is that the writer won't eat anything for dinner. But the irony in this sentence is, the actual meaning of this sentence is that the writer was not left with any money. He didn't have any money with him that he would buy food for him for dinner. Humorist, she cried gaily, jumping into a cab. So she just boarded the cab. Cab is a taxi, and called the writer humorist. You are quite a humorist. And she calls the writer a humorist. But now here the incident ends. Okay, so the incident which was being narrated and which was remembered by the writer ends over here. Now let us go back to the first paragraph. In the first paragraph, we had read that the writer had met the lady after 20 years. Now what does the writer, and writer had gone to meet the lady during interval, right? And now let's see what the writer says. But I have had my revenge at last. And the writer says that after 20 years, he had fulfilled, he had taken a revenge from the lady. Now, how this revenge was taken? I do not believe that I am a vindictive man. So the writer says that he doesn't believe that he is very vindictive. Vindictive means very mean, cruel, unkind, who would take revenge from somebody, and especially from a lady. But when gods take a hand in the matter, now when God wants to give you justice and takes the matter in his hands, when God takes the matter in his hands, it is understandable. So the writer says that we can understand, we can agree to observe the result with satisfaction. And he says that we can understand that if you cannot take a revenge from somebody who has done wrong with you, then and if God takes that revenge, then the writer says that it is understandable. We can agree to this and we can see the result, the revenge which is taken by God with satisfaction. And what was the revenge taken by God? Today, she weighs 21 stone. Okay, so first let us understand what does 21 stone mean. Now 21 stone is British unit of measure. Okay, and it is equivalent to 14 pounds. So the woman weighed 21, right? That is 21 stone into 14, that comes to 300 pounds. Okay, one stone is equal to 14 pounds. So if we multiply 21 stones into 14 pounds, then we get the weight of the lady, that is 300 pounds. And if we let us understand in kgs, so the lady weighed 133.356 kgs. So this is how the writer feels that a revenge was taken by God on his behalf, just because the lady weighed too much, right? That is 133.356 kgs. So children, I hope that you all have understood the lesson. You might have enjoyed the lesson. Read the lesson on your own, right? So that's all from my side. Thank you so much.